All right, we're back, everybody. So we're having just a couple technical difficulties, but I think we're live, and I think I have Linda set up sort of correctly. So the orientation of this broadcast might be a little bit different from the last one. We can't figure out how to get her phone straightened out here, but, but you should be able to see it. So hi, hello. Okay, Kimberly's
Hi.
on. So I've got Linda on the main screen, and then I'm over here on the other side. Um, so thank you guys for joining us again. So this is the second part of our Halloween card and treat holder event. So Linda's going to share 3 different cards with you, 3 different Halloween cards using the exact same suite that I use. So this is the Magic in This Night suite from Stampin' Up. Hi, everybody. So there you go. She's got it on the screen. So she's going to share 3 cards, and she's going to share 3 coordinating treat holders with you. So again, if you did not get the, what do you call it? The tutorial, you can go out to my website at stamptasticdesigns.com. Go to my blog, and I've got my projects from this morning posted out there. And then I also have the tutorial, which has my projects plus all of Linda's projects. So I'm going to let Linda get started, and I'm going to try to give her full control of the screen here. So bear with me. All right. Go ahead, Linda, and I'm just going to play here for a moment.
You got it. All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for popping back on for the second half of today. We're getting a little punchy here trying to get this all to work. So, like we said, bear with us. But I do have the 3 cards, 3 treat holders, and I can't wait to share them with you because I had so much fun creating them. Again, I apologize for the orientation of my screen here. It has really made me need to work in a tiny, tiny space. So, anyway, here is my card. Here is the fun treat holder using a little tiny treat box. So, let's get started first on the card. And let me show you the supplies that you're going to need for that. I have a black card base, and it is the 8.5 by 5.5, where it is scored down the middle at 4 1/4. On the inside, I've already put this in. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white, and I love to add little extra stamped images or a little strip of scrap paper to decorate the insides of my cards as well. So there's the card front, or the card base, I should say. A piece of smoky slate, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. Now on this, well, I didn't get all my supplies out. I have a piece of designer series paper from that Magic in This Night, and it is 2 by 5. All right. So let me go ahead and adhere that down before I go anywhere and possibly lose it. So the fun thing about this paper, beyond being, really cute Halloween, but I mean, check this out. That is not Halloween at all. You can certainly use the other side of the paper being double-sided and, get some extra use out of this paper. So actually, this is not really Halloweeny. I don't know if that's the word I want to use or not, but all right. So there was the 2 by 5. I'm just going to go ahead while I'm at it and adhere this right down to my card base, the basic black. So let's go ahead and get that down too. So the thing I love about using liquid glue is you can move your paper around to make sure you have it lined up the way you want it. That is also the curse of it, because as you're rubbing it to adhere it down, it will slip on you. So that is kind of the problem I have there too with it. All right, I have also now I die cut some circles here, and one is a rich razzleberry. This is die cut, and it measures 2.5. approximately with a cross on that. Now, what I want to do is go ahead and adhere this down, but I'm using dimensionals to do that. I thought I could do either the circle be popped up or those black glitter bats. So I decided to go with the circle this time. So let's go ahead and pop this down. Speaking of the bats, these die cut bats are fabulous. They're so much fun. And being the black glitter, that's tough to say. Um, I just think they just look awesome with all that extra sparkle. So let me go ahead and show you then too. I have a white die cut circle that I stamped in There Is Magic in This Night. And this measures about 1 3/8. That's another. But again, use what you have. If you have punches, um, dies, circle dies, if you want to make it a different, a square, that's fine too. Um, just use something to get it down. I am using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and we're going to adhere this right down here on the edge of the circle. Now, where this is off of the razzleberry circle, I did pop in a dimensional. I like to do that to make sure it doesn't kind of, go down on your card. But then I also like to put a little blob of glue to make sure I am really adhered well. So let me put it right there. Okay, bat time. Um, speaking of, I mean, I saw these as Batman symbols too. So if you needed to make like a boy's birthday card, perfect, using these bats and turning it with a Batman theme. So always thinking, huh, on what we can do with the supplies that we have. So, but I just think these bats are fantastic. All right. So here are my bats adhered down. You know what? Except for a couple iridescent pearls, we are done with this. So let me get my Picket tool and see if I can get some of these pearls off of here. When Now they are called iridescent pearls. Now when I first saw them, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're all different colors." But it's cool the way being iridescent, they sort of take on the color of the paper that's around them. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. So, okay, card number one is done. Simple as that. All right. So, again, don't be afraid to use supplies that you have on hand. Maybe you don't like Halloween, so that's fine. Use Christmas or birthday or anything. So, all right. So, I have the little treat box. It's a mini treat box. And I want to make sure that I have the box. Oh, here it is. So, here it is, the way it first comes out of the package. I don't know if you guys can see it or not very well, but it has this film over it, a protective film. So be sure to take it off before you get started creating your box. All right. Now, you can tell that there's a top and a bottom to this. So let's kind of get it all. Let's get some extra folds in here, pre-folded a little bit. All right. Now, let me get a couple more done here. To do the box, here this is the top of the box. It has the flap that will then close in. Let's concentrate on the bottom of the box here first. So, let me open it all up. All right, these two pieces, and I'm hoping you're seeing this okay with not too much glare. These two pieces here are the sides. All right, they look alike, so they're the sides. Make sure they are opened up for your first going around here. So we're going to make sure we put in the piece here. Let me grab here. I don't know if you can see it better this way or not, but this piece is the one that's going to go in first. Then your sides will come in and hook into that opening that's in the middle of that first piece that you put in. And then this piece will also go in there. So you now have a cute little box. On my sample, I made it up. I was so proud of the way it looked. And then I realized I never filled it up with treats. So I don't want to forget them this time. So let's go ahead and fill them up with some treats. So candy corn, I hate. So tell me in the comments if you are yay or nay when it comes to candy corn. I am definitely a nay on that. So, but I thought they would look really cute in this box. And if I could get it closed, I just thought it would look really cute in that box. And I just know then too, I won't be eating at it either since I don't like it. All right. Now, here's what I'm calling the front of my box here, where the flap opens and closes. Okay. I probably shouldn't have done that since I struggled earlier. There we go. Now, I have a piece of the designer series paper, and this measures, let me think, 9 by 1 3/4. And very similar to what Lynn did with one of her first treat holders, is she just basically wrapped it around. And that's what I'm going to do too. All right. So I just like to wrap it around. I will kind of use my fingers to create the folds or the scoring in there so that it fits in. I will do it now. And now I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to be. All right. So this piece at the front of the box is the only piece that I'm going to put adhesive. Well, that it goes up against the box. Let's put it that way. So let me make sure that I'm good and straight there. So let that adhere. And now I'm just going to wrap it around to the back and straighten it out to make sure that it overlaps itself. And now I'm just going to put some adhesive to hold it together. So a little there, a little there, line it up, and then just kind of hold it in place for a second. I just want to forewarn you guys that the football game, the Steelers are playing. I am from the Pittsburgh area, so we're big fans. But if you hear a lot of cheering, that means we're doing good. I told the guys to be careful with what they say, even though my door is closed. We can, so I'm hoping if you hear some bad words, that they don't come out on the camera. So anyway, I have some of the mesh ribbon. I love this ribbon. I cut a piece that's like 24 inches and I fold it in half. Now you can do two 12-inch pieces, doesn't matter. However you want to do it. And I'm going to start on the bottom and just wrap it around, and I'm going to tie a knot. I will be cutting that piece that's folded. So that's why I said that if you wanted to do two of them that were 12 inches long, that's fine too. So I will cut that. I just found that working with one piece was easier for me. All right, so here we go. Let me now do a little cutting. And this is what I love about this ribbon. It is all meshy. I don't know the word I want for this, very spider web looking. And I like to literally rip it and kind of tear the fibers a little bit. That's okay if I tore it completely, but look how then it gets all crinkly and bent, and it looks spooky to me this way. So this is what I like to do with this ribbon, is literally rip it, just pull it apart, get those fibers kind of unstuck there from each other. And I just like that look. You can do more, you can do less, you don't have to do any at all. But that's how I kind of got that fun, crazy look on the top of my box. All right, now all I did for a sentiment was I stamped the "Open If You Dare" sentiment in black ink on a pretty peacock circle. And again, that's like 1 3/8 is the die cut there. I have a couple dimensionals, so let's get that popped on. So here's the front of my box. I will pop it on there. And then also within that die set are it's a set of glitter bats, and there's three of them on one die. So again, I cut them out. Here's just two of them. There is a third one. I just cut them out again with the black glimmer paper, or glitter paper I should say. I really do like that paper. I ordered myself a bunch. So okay, a little bit of glue, and down we go. All right, so here is the treat holder and the card for project number 1. All right, let's move on. Okay, I have to clear off a little bit of space here, sorry. And here we go. Here is the card. And I used one of the mosaic, let me see if mosaic gusseted cellophane bags. So it's perfect for those bigger treats that you may have. Well, I guess you could put in a bunch of little treats too, for that matter. So let's go ahead and get started with this. And I'm going to start with the card first. So, all right, move that off to the side. Pretty peacock, again, the same dimensions, 8.5 by 5.5. And it is scored then at 4 1/4. Inside, I have my Whisper White, again, already stamped with that big ugly spider. Um, I don't like spiders, but I love the spiders in this set. How crazy is that? So, okay. Um, Designer paper. I have 3 pieces here. Piece number 1. This measures 2 by 4.5. All right, so let's go ahead and get that adhered down. So here again, this is the back side of it. Lynn used it in one of her projects this morning. And again, it works great with the Halloween theme, but it isn't just solely for Halloween. So, all right. So I have it on the left-hand side of my card. Now I have 2 more strips here of pattern paper, and I'm going to use the flowered one for something fun, just something a little different. Now the flower one here, it measures 1.5 by 4 1/4. It's going that way it'll go from top to bottom. This little piece here is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and get these adhered down as well. Now, let me pop it here. When I have things that go like top to bottom or side to side on my cards, I always like to make sure that it is flush to the fold. And then that way, if my cutting isn't exact, I can always cut off then from the side where it opens. Do you know what I'm saying? So, because I definitely am not one that always cuts straight. I try, but you know how that goes sometimes. And there we go. And it will just, they will be side by side. Okay. So, like this piece here, it does hit over a little bit. So let me just trim that off. All right. Some things I'm picky about, some things I'm not. And for some reason, that's one thing that I'm like, I like it exact. All right. On a piece of black cardstock. Let me see if I have some here, just on a scrap piece. Let's see if I have any. I do. If you just give me a second. No, here it is. Okay. I have a piece of scrap cardstock. What I'm going to do is, there is magic in this night. I am going to stamp that in Versamark ink on the black cardstock that I need to move up, don't I? So let me get this out of the way. I'm getting myself a little. All right. So I am going to go ahead, ink that up, and stamp it down. Now, I know you're not going to see it here, but believe me, it's there. Versamark is kind of a sticky ink. It's perfect for heat embossing. So then I'm going to go ahead, add my white embossing powder. Okay. And now I'm going to tap it off. All right. I even like to smack it with my finger from the back side. Now I'll look at it and I see a little piece here of embossing powder. If you can't quite get it with maybe your fingernail, don't be afraid to use a paintbrush to get that off. All right. Now, let me move this out of the way. This is where the magic in this day happens when you get your heat tool ready to go, and we're going to heat this up. Now, I know a lot of people have asked if they can use a hair dryer for this, and you cannot. It has to be a heat tool because it's going to get loud in here. Sorry. The heat tool heats up so much hotter than a hair dryer. So this is the only way that you can get this to melt. So let me bring it up a little closer. I like to turn it on its side so I can watch it change. When I see it changing, I know then that it's melting. So you can see it kind of get a little bit brighter white. And there, it happens that fast. All right, so that is the heat embossing. Now, I used a 1 3/8, no, excuse me, 1 3/4 inch circle to die cut that out. Or maybe I punched it out, not sure. So, whichever you have. So, that's what I have here. Okay, a little bit of dimensionals on it. Let me bring my card back. Okay, and I'm going to pop it right down here. Okay, now, next up are the bats. On my sample piece, I used the bats. I stamped them on a piece of Cajun Craze, just a scrap piece. Now, this stamp, let me show it to you. They're combined, the big bat and the small one. So, really, all I did was ink up the small one. I mean, all right, so I got some of the ink on the bigger bat as well. No big deal. And I just would stamp. Let me make sure I'm in screen. I would do that 3 times and then use the die to die cut these out. All right. So that's what I did for the sample is I used those bats. If you don't have the stamp set, or if you prefer, I'm going to actually show this then with the glitter bats, and then you can decide which way you like it best. So let me bring in the glitter bats. I have 1, 2, and here's the third one. I have dimensionals on the back. This one, I only have it on one wing and the body because of it overlapping the sentiment strip, so, or circle rather. So let's get him right there. And then the other two, I can put wherever I want. And I do have all 3, the wings and the body with dimensionals on it. All right. Yeah, I like these black uh, dimensionals. They're perfect. You don't see them when you're working with the darker colors. That is if you remember to to use them. Okay, so here it is with the glitter bats. Here it is with the stamping. So you decide which way you like it best. And that's the way you'll create yours. Okay, here we go. The treat bag. Like I said, it is the mosaic gusseted cellophane bag. I happen to have one here, and I have some filler in it. The filler happens to be black cardstock. It's basic black cardstock that I ran through my paper shredder. And that's what I used for my filler. So I like these bags. Like I said, they're big and they will hold some bigger treats. So I happen to have this little bag here of the Oreo minis. So let me go ahead, kind of get into the middle of that filler and slide my bag on in there. You might need to play around with it to make sure that it's, I don't know, I kind of wanted it covered with the black a little bit. So there we go. My Oreos are inside the bag. Soon to be coming out as soon as I'm done with the video today. So now all I'm going to do is hold them tight, fold it to close it, and then bring in a stapler. What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying sometimes. Okay. All right, so there we go. It's closed. Like I said, you might want to play with yours and the filler and everything a little bit more than I did. Okay, so let me just set this off to the side for a second. I have two of the labels out of the Halloween Magic die set. So these two labels here, I die cut from the paper, the pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these together. I may have said in the tutorial to put dimensionals on these. I'm not sure if I did or not, because where I want to use the dimensionals is then when I put it down to the bag. So I'm not sure which way I said to do it on the in the tutorial. So okay, so let me hurry up and pop some dimensionals here. This pretty much covers the whole bag width-wise. So I feel good there. So I'm just going to leave it with that. I know I'm the queen of dimensionals, but today I'm going to go easy on them. So I will go ahead and adhere this down to my bag. Okay. Yes, I have a staple showing. Yes, we'll take care of that in a second. All right. Now, again, open if you dare. It is stamped with black ink on some Cajun craze. And again, I cut it out with the 1 3/8 circle die. So that comes out of those layering circle dies. And I'll get this popped on right in the center. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some bats. Now on my sample here, I have 3 glitter bats on it. These out of the smaller ones. It is this die. Let me show you. This is the die that I used to cut these bats out. I seem to, whoops, I see another one. I was going to say I seem to be missing some, so here they all are. They're still in my bag. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So I used the black glitter paper and die cut a whole bunch of bats out. So I'm going to use them. I just put a little snippet of a dimensional on the back of these. And I'm just going to start laying them around here. Because nothing is spookier and tells you to open if you dare than a bunch of bats covering your treats. All right, one more. And then, and right here with this one. So there we go. Now, to cover up that staple, I just tied a bow using that mesh ribbon that I love so much. Let me pop that on with a glue dot. I might actually use two to really make sure that I am adhered well to that staple. And the fact that the staple is, it's not going to be flush against there. And there again, I'm not going to tear this, but I could. I could get going and tearing on this ribbon like I like to do. But there we go. And that's how quick and easy it is to create a treat holder and the card that went somewhere. Oh my gosh. I am having a time. Here we go. Here it is using the glitter bats instead of the stamped and then die cut bats. And then the fun little treat bag for that. All right, now the last one. Can I say this one's my favorite? I hope I can say that because it is. So here we go. The card. Super simple. Super simple. Um, and the pieces or the supplies that you're going to need are a black card base, 8.5, 5.5. Your white for the insides, that's 4 by 5.25. I have a piece of designer series paper, and this is 5.25 by 4. And I have another second piece of designer series paper, and this measures 2 by 4. All right, let's go ahead and get that. I didn't show you the treat box, did I? I didn't. I think this, like I said, this pair is my favorite. This one, I'm going to show you how I created this one. It's a pouch, I guess I should say. So let's get back to the card because I get so excited with all of this. So I kind of lose my track of where my mind is going. I have some basic black that I am going to layer up with my cardstock here, or with my designer series paper, and it is just 1/4 of an inch bigger. So that means it is 2.25 by 4.25. So let me go ahead and get those put together. I'm going to go ahead and put it down to that other piece of designer series paper that's going to go on the front of the card. And now I'm going to get this all put down to the card base. So here we go. All right. Sometimes I can't talk if I'm concentrating. So if I go silent in the middle of a sentence, you'll know then, uh-oh, look how she's concentrating. So, so the next step, I have a piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock, and it is 5/8 of an inch wide by 3 7/8 long. The length and the width might vary based on the sentiment that you're going to use. I also, as you can see, I banner cut the end. There are a couple punches that you can use, one being the tailor tag punch that you can use to help you out. Because I honestly am really bad with cutting to create my banner. I've tried, believe me, I have tried. And yeah. Anyway, so I did stamp from the stamp set the Happy Halloween in black ink on this strip of Pretty Peacock. Banner cut the end, put on some dimensionals. So it will, and I on purpose did it on the left side to allow me some space to embellish. So there was a reason to my madness on that. So here we go. And I'm going to put it down. I like things off center because I think it matches my personality. So let me bring back the iridescent pearls. And let's pop 3 of those on. So 1, 2, and one more. 3. All right. That card, how quick and easy was that? All right. Card is done. Now let's get together and work on the treat pouch, treat box, however we want to say it. So, all right, let me make sure I have all the supplies that I need. And here we go. There is, again, some more embossing. I'm not going to show it to you this time, but I did do, again, on scrap paper, that web label. I stamped it again in Versamark ink and then sprinkled on some white embossing powder, heat set it, then die cut it. And that's what I got here. All right. So that's the label that I'm going to need. I'm going to also need a strip of Pretty Peacock. Now, this one is 1/2 inch wide, 2 3/4 of an inch long. And you may, if you um, make it longer, you just might need to trim it down. So the length and the width is all going to depend on your sentiment that you're going to use. This trick or treat fits in there perfectly. So that's what I did here was I did the trick or treat already. I stamped it and I banner cut my end. This little spider, I just did it. I stamped it on some white cardstock and then just punched it out or die cut it out, something to fit your spider. So whatever the size may be. Okay, bunch of dimensionals on the back. Yes, I know, a lot. So those two will go together, but I'm going to set those aside for now. I do have a little bow here as well with our ribbon. And let's get going now on the 2 pieces of the designer series paper. Okay, for the base of the box, I have a piece of the paper, and this measures 4 1/4 by 9 1/2. All right, and then I have a second piece here that is 3 by 3 1/2. Now, this piece is going to be the topper of your box. And whether you score it, I don't know if you can tell that I did here. So you put the 3-inch side into your scoring tool, score it at 1 1/2. Or you can just fold it in half, however it's going to work for you. But as long as then you have this, the width of it, the 3 1/2, this direction. Okay. So there's the top. Bring your scoring tool back out again, and let me tell you what we're going to do on this one. So because this pattern is so busy, it's hard to see the score lines. I'm going to actually flip it over just so you can see them. Um, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that yet. All right. Sorry, changed my mind, because what I want you to do is put it in with the 4 1/4 at the top of your scoring tool. And you're going to score it down here at 3/4 of an inch. Okay. So 3/4 of an inch, and that's all you need for that one. Now, let's just turn it a 1/4 of a turn. So here's that 3/4 of an inch down here at the bottom. Okay. So now this is my 9 1/2 across the top, a bunch of score lines. And these will be, this is in the tutorial, so don't feel flustered that I'm going too fast. You can pick it up with the tutorial. You're going to score it at 3 1/2, at 4 inches, at 4 1/2. Then you're not quite done yet. We're going to come all the way down here and score again then at 8, 8 1/2, and 9. All right. Like I said, please get the tutorial to get all of those scoring lines so that I don't get you too confused. Okay. Now, let me finish showing you what you need to do. And now I'm going to flip it over on the back so you can better see these score lines. But keep in mind, it's backwards now. So it's from here to the 3 1/2 inches. Does that make sense? All right. But this is so I can see where I'm going to cut. And you do need to do a couple little snips. So from this edge to the 3 1/2 inch score line, you are going to snip it up to that 3/4 of an inch score line. Because remember, that's still down here at the bottom. You're going to skip the 4-inch one, go to the 4.5. Okay, let's move all the way down here. This one is the 8-inch score line. Again, snip it up to the 3/4 of an inch, skip the 8.5, go to the 9. Now, this little piece here, you're actually going to cut that off completely. All right. So here we go. Let's get started folding it now. Okay. So I want to fold up my 3/4 here. All of these can get folded up along that 3/4 inch score line. Okay. Now let's come down here. This is that 3.5-inch score line. So the first one from the right, we're going to fold that and burnish that. Now, again, I skipped the next one. That's the 4-inch line. But if you happen to fold it and burnish it, it's fine. All right. I'm just going to skip it. So it's essentially the same places that you snipped with your scissors is where you're going to also burnish with your bone folder. Okay. So these are the 9-inch and the 8-inch line. So I am skipping that one in the middle. So where you snipped is where you're also going to fold it and burnish it. Now look at this. This is going to start looking like a box here very, very soon. Ta-da! So there we go. Here's our box. So this piece I know by folding it up that way, I'm going to need some tear and tape, some strong adhesive. You can certainly use glue. I just happen to prefer using tear and tape, all right, when I make my boxes. The glue will allow you that wiggle room that we always talk about, but I like using this for 3D items. All right, so let me go ahead, and the worst part is getting it, there we go, getting the paper off. So from there to this fold line. So they will meet here. Sorry, sometimes I get a little too OCD on these things. They have to be just so. So, all right. Now the bottom of the box, the flaps will go in, and then you can fold the bottom up. And again, I prefer to use tear and tape on that. So let me just rip off a piece. Probably would have been easier if I would have done this before adhering the sides together, but we'll make it work, right? Okay. Now I'm going to make it. This is the bottom of the box I'm working on right now. And I'm struggling. There we go. And fold it in, match up your sides, and push it down. Sometimes I'll put in something to help kind of make sure that my pieces of paper adhere to each other. Okay, so here's the box. Now remember those score lines that I said, no big deal if you fold them. I often like to skip them. This is how I'm going to hold the box. Between my thumb here, I'm going to keep my index or my pointer finger free, and I am going to push on that score line and then squish it together. All right. So that is how we're going to make the box. I will just kind of manually kind of push in on that score line. But again, it's no big deal if you have it scored there. Okay. But heaven forbid I forget the snacks to go in there. So M&Ms. I have to hide these from my one son. He loves M&Ms. So there we go. Actually, those 2 bags fit in there nicely. So this is where now, remember, I just push it in. And now just get out your good old stapler and let's get it stapled to close it up. Okay, 1, and there we go. So our box is made. Like I said, where it's kind of bulging out, if you just give it a little push in there because you have that scored, it just makes it a little bit neater. Now I have the topper. Remember I said make sure that it's 3.5 across and that you folded it on the 3-inch side. So it's 1.5 by 3.5 because this will fit right over to cover up your staple and make it look a little neater. Now, my dilemma here is, do I use tear and tape and let the person struggle to get their treats out of there? Or do I use glue or some other adhesive? So, I don't know. I seem to go with the tear and tape. So, and yeah, I got to make them work for it, right? So, here we go. So, just across the bottom, and that's the struggle there. I am going to go ahead and get this put down. So I kind of push that in. I like to make sure that I am straight across this way, and then I'll kind of wrap it around to the back and make sure that it folds over to the back nicely as well. Okay, now let's decorate. Okay, so I have my label here that I forgot to put dimensionals on the back. So let's go ahead and do that real quick using these black dimensionals. I forget that I have them. So, all right. So we're almost done. Bear with me. I know I'm kind of going overload, I think, on you. So, so let's go ahead and pop this down. I have my sentiment and I have my little spider adhered together. And then I have a lot of dimensionals on the back of this. And I like I said before, I like things kind of cockeyed or off center. So I am going to do that with my strip. So I kind of have my spider straight up and down, but my sentiment is going to go at an angle. One last thing is a bow. And I tied a little baby bow this time. I'm going to kind of pull with these fibers, let it get all a little wonky on you. I do like this look, I really do. Now, let me get this on, popped on a mini glue dot. And let's just pop it right below the spider here. And there we go. There is the treat box pouch that coordinates with this card. So there they are. I have 3 additional card and treat box ideas for you. So let me see if I can get them into the shot. Again, I apologize for the orientation here. And let's bring in the last one and the cellophane box. Oh, there's my screen. Sorry. I was like, wait a minute, I lost the screen. But we are all good. I am all done here. And I really hope you enjoyed yourselves today. I know Lynn and I both really had fun making these. Every time we would make a project of this, we would be sending pictures to each other about it and getting excited. So I'm so glad that you joined us. And, if you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to ask. We'd be happy to answer. And again, don't forget the tutorial. Get that scooped up as well.
So Linda,
I
I'm
am
back.
Linda Anderson. Okay. Hey.
Are you there? I'm back online.
Okay, I am too.
All right, so thank you so much for sharing all those projects. Those were a lot of fun. I think I do like the very last one that you shared was my favorite. Not that the rest weren't, but I really liked that, especially that treat container. That was really cool. So, all right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed all of these project ideas. Both of the videos that we did today, the morning video that I did and the one that Linda just did, they are recorded. They will be available on my Facebook page, and they are also available on my YouTube channel, so you can find them there. So go ahead and grab that printable tutorial out on my website and get all your supplies prepped, and then you can watch the videos again for some of the tips that we shared on how to make all these cards and treat holders. So thanks again, you guys, for joining us, and it was kind of fun to be on camera. I haven't been on camera on my videos, so now that I know how to do it, you guys, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure. I'll come on camera again and chat with you guys. So I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and I will be back with you guys next week, Sunday, back at my regular time at 8 in the morning to share some more fun projects with you. So have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Bye.